Change Matters is an initiative of the Architects Order, OA, of Portugal, dedicated to change, towards a more sustainable future in the practice of architecture in Portugal. Questioning the role of sustainability and quality in the contemporary practice of architecture, OA launched a global and inclusive challenge that summons everyone to a balanced and harmonious vision of our shared environment, and the construction of a future, that must be environmentally, territorially, culturally, and socially sustainable. To design is to anticipate a reality. Humanist manifestos, like the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, refocus on the importance of symbiosis between living beings and nature, as well as the common good, well-being, and participation. As architects, we must mobilize our knowledge and understanding of territory, both urban and non-urban. We must improve the human condition and rethink territorial organization on a larger scale, towards a reality that ensures both social and environmental well-being. We must recognize climate adaptation, rethinking resources, the resilience of our communities, health, inclusivity, and partnership as central objectives to architecture as a practice that participates in the harmony and diversity of life as a community and in nature. The challenge is societal and borderless. It is about the survival of our common place, a dynamic and symbiotic ecosystem between mankind and nature. The answer falls to all of us. In March 2023, we gathered in Congress, in the Azores, a group of 9 islands forming a transatlantic pathway for people and nature with lasting cultural exchanges, and reflected on the role of sustainability, ecology, and ethics in contemporary architectural practice. The conferences, research papers, recommendations, and motions, presented under the Congress's theme, Quality and Sustainability, Building Our Future, challenged everyone to join efforts, perceive possibilities, and substantiate choices. We debated an agenda for sustainability, along with the strategies and commitments towards education and research, and the practice of architecture in Portugal. Now, Portuguese architects, driven by an awareness of environmental and social change, are committed to development that is sustainable in both senses. Drawn from the reflections that took place in our 16th Congress, we hereby present the Declaration of the Azores. Entitled Change Matters, Building Our Future. It promotes, among architects, a common agenda for sustainability, for a sustainable society, a sustainable architecture, and a sustainable professional practice. But the challenge is global, and the necessary response calls for everyone to take part, so we summon architects and non-architects to change. At stake is the future of our common home. Together, at the OA National Congress held in the Azores Archipelago, a region that has long been considered a site of geostrategic relevance for geopolitical and resource exploitation due to its natural wealth and its location in the North Atlantic with a unique and lasting cultural heritage, we explored new forms of intervention as a means to cultivate collective consciousness about the social impact of architecture. The necessary change to promote a greater awareness of the environmental impact and the commitment for the construction of a future, ours. The principles to which we must commit are circularity and rehabilitation, material sustainability and digital transformation, housing and inclusion, sustainability by design, practice, institution and common good, and governance and quality. As citizens of the Atlantic Ocean, we acknowledge the imminent devastation of our overseas territories and coastal cities by climate change. Right now, however, we also have an opportunity to reimagine these places. As European citizens, presently under transition to a post-carbon society, we understand that war, inherently based on fossil fuel consumption, is a celebration of destruction, of life, cities, and the planet, and consequently the antithesis of architecture. As citizens of a globalized world, we are obliged to recognize that every crisis, financial, health, war, is global in nature, requiring global solutions. As citizens of an entire planet under threat, we demand a future for our common home. We urge everyone, architects, designers, citizens, to pursue a well-balanced and harmonious shared territory, allowing for the construction of a future, ours, that is environmentally, territorially, economically, culturally, and socially sustainable. We endorse architecture's role of aggregation and mediation, and the architect's mission to build in harmony. In the process of building, we must, all of us, respond to the construction and integration of communities, their habitat and well-being, seeking a balance between occupancy, construction and preservation, and the sustainability of our common home, the planet we all inhabit. Agents of change. We speak for change and aim at contributing to a greater awareness of the role of sustainability, ecology, and ethics in architecture. We advocate for a collaborative, interdisciplinary, and cross-disciplinary knowledge and practice, focusing on the processes of renovation, construction, and demolition, with attention to regional building ecologies, the social and labor dynamics of those who build, the livability and maintenance of what we build, the local production and supply of materials, and the flows of carbon emissions embedded in these processes. We embrace the need to build cities, and particularly a housing stock, that is accessible to all citizens, with low environmental impact, sufficient amenities, healthy and inclusive, promoting the social dimension of sustainability and addressing the disproportionate impact of crisis on deprived communities. We demand, within local communities and regional authorities, a leading role in the implementation of new policies for economic development and industrialization, prioritizing an impartial and just value chain that protects communities, biodiversity, and resources, ensuring a regional development aware of the impact of the built environment on the landscape and knowledgeable of the relevance of its transformation for everyone's overall well-being. We call upon architects and the building sector for a decisive recognition of the pressing need for participation in the mitigation of climate change, converting scientific knowledge into a design agenda and strategies for construction, and implementing changes that have the protection of biodiversity and positive social impact as key objectives of a sustainable architectural practice. We call for an intervention, in the territory and in the built environment, that favors a more resilient vision of urbanism and architecture, challenging the encounter between the laws of nature, building regulations, and spatial planning. We aim to contribute to environmental literacy among and within the bodies and members of the OA, educational institutions, and the technical community in general, disseminating updated information on environmental regulation and certification, supporting both the public and private sectors with the definition and verification of the adequacy of environmental performance requirements, and promoting training on environmental sustainability and ecology. For the quality and sustainability of our architecture and landscape, for the common good. We advocate a policy of quality and sustainability for architecture, which values and promotes 1. Performance-based design, promoting bioclimatic comfort, and the interaction between natural and artificial environments. 2. The careful evaluation of the need for construction, the promotion of resource-efficient construction and the reuse and renovation of existing buildings, supporting long life cycles as a less carbon-intensive alternative to demolition and new construction. 3. The progressive transition to a more circular construction economy, with the reduction of waste and careful selection of systems, techniques and materials. 4. The promotion of renewable energy production, the reduction of consumption, and energy sufficiency, during and after construction, from the scale of the building to the scale of the city and the region. 5. The development of ways for environmental regeneration and recovery from the damage inflicted on the ecosystem's ecological balance. 6. The incorporation of environmental, economic, and social costs in the life cycle assessment of a building, encouraging a reduction in the use of resources, both incorporated and operational. 7. Knowledge about material provenance and the environmental impact of the supply chain, extraction, transformation, and distribution, in favor of changing patterns and trends towards the use of low-carbon, non-toxic, and ethically produced materials. 8. Research and technology, guided by systemic knowledge, sharing tools, data, and strategies, available to all in open-source platforms. 9. Logics of organizational proximity and remote communication technologies, avoiding the environmental costs of travel between sites, government offices, and other places as part of the design, planning and building process, and pollution in general. 10. Architecture and landscape as strategic resources for developmental policies and a practice of reference to sustainable development, spatial planning, biodiversity and nature conservation, urban regeneration, rural redevelopment, safeguarding of cultural heritage, and coastal management and protection. It's in our hands, architects from all territories and regions, to contribute with our drawings and our work to put these ideas into practice. It's in our hands to support the state and local, intermediate and regional authorities, institutions, bodies and initiatives, in bringing people together and closer to the places and spaces where we live, work and take our leisure, to strengthen local logics and identity, to create, in participative dialogue, with and for all. This is the mission, today, for architecture. To build our future. Change matters. This is the commitment we brought from the Azores.